So that being said, let's give a warm hand of applause for Miss Rashida Jones. Hey. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Thanks for coming out tonight.
Yeah, of course.
This is
Happy to be
amazing. So, look at all the fans. You're so excited.
Hi, guys.
Like, let's take it in. Oh my gosh.
Nice turnout.
It's such a great turnout. Now, you've had tons of roles in the past, the last of which was playing Anne on Parks and Rec. I just loved you in that role. But, I mean, after that show's end, you were definitely entitled to a break. I mean, what kind of motivated you to return to TV so quickly? Was that kind of your master plan?
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. I wasn't like, I have to get off Parks and get onto another show. Because Parks was such a singular experience. Nothing will ever be it. Those people are my family. We made this thing together that's unmatched, and I will never try again to match that. But I read the script that Steve Carell and his wife Nancy wrote, and it was so stupid and so funny. I felt like I had no choice but to dive in.
So were you the person that kind of Steve and Nancy had in mind for this? I mean, how did they reach out to you about the role? I know you had the Office connection, but
They emailed me, but I just today, my paranoid mind was speculating that, like, what if they just, like, BCC'd me and, like, 40 other actresses and just wait. Like, we wrote this part for you.
yeah, okay. But that was
Fill a
not
name
the case.
here. No, I don't know. I don't think so, no. I think that I mean, I don't know. Maybe they did try a couple other people before me. I don't know. I was just so happy. The minute I read the script, I was like, oh, no, yes, but no, but yes. It's just my favorite kind of dumb humor.
Okay, your favorite kind of dumb humor. I heard that you may or may not be a fan of Airplane. I mean, what about kind of your comedic sensibilities really come out with this project?
You know, it's so funny because in doing it, none of them. But in watching it, all of them. Watching it and reading them, because when you actually do this kind of comedy, you got to just be on a cop show. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not, I mean, you do sort of have to service the joke sometimes. Sometimes there's props, sometimes there's animals, sometimes there's costume changes in the middle of sentences. But for the most part, acting-wise, I have to kind of keep it pretty straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you were reading the script, like, what element of it really stood out to you as being like, I may want to write or I might want to do all this other stuff, but like this is what I really got to do right now?
I mean, I think it was first thing off the bat. The first scene of the first episode is me, my stunt double, just basically like warming up and getting ready for work, and then just like destroying her apartment, just like kung fu kicks and like knocking down her bookshelf.
Wait, I
doing
do that every
chin-ups.
morning. That's not.
You do?
Yeah, no.
No, it's good. You're getting your aggression out before you leave your house. And then as I leave my house, there's like all these types of like servicemen, like a plumber and like a contractor being like, "You go, Angie Tribeca, good job." Just like it just made me laugh so hard.
That's awesome. Now, okay, Angie Tribeca. Who is Andrew Tribeca? Like, who is this chick?
Angie Tribeca is a very committed detective of the LAPD, and she's like most great cops. She's got a tough exterior and a soft interior that she's really pushed far away because she's had some traumatic things happen to her in the past. If you watch the show, you'll find out what. Mm-hmm. But because of it, she's kind of shut down. She's committed herself wholeheartedly to work, and she has this partner, Jay Giles, who slowly but surely kind of breaks her down.
So what is similar or dissimilar about Angie given the other characters that you've played?
I mean, I guess this is sort of the ultimate straight guy. I do end up playing maybe the least insane person in an insane group of people, like the affable friend, the reasonable girlfriend, those kinds of things. But this is like to the extreme. I'm sort of like the one who doesn't think anything is funny. I mean, Angie Tribeca does not understand the comedy of the show Angie Tribeca.
And I guess you mentioned it kind of being a little, well, I mentioned it being a little bit like Airplane because that's a similarity that I drew. But I mean, is this like absurdist? Is this slapstick? I mean...
Yeah, I was trying to like think of what the actual genre is, but I don't know what it is. I guess it's all that stuff. It's sort of absurd. It's sort of slapstick. I guess it's sort of screwball because there's a lot of physical comedy. But I don't know. It's like farcical a little bit. It's a spoof. I don't know. I feel like somebody's going to have to make up
a whole genre just for you.
No, the genre's been done. Airplane did it perfectly A++. But what is it called? I mean, I guess it's slapstick?
Yeah, I don't know. But we can let the audience decide for themselves because I think we have a clip.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I love that.
So dumb.
I think what's awesome about that, though, is that it looks so easy, but I feel like there has to be a degree of difficulty there. Is that true?
Yeah, well, because even that scene alone, I mean, I can't reach that jar. So there's a lot of like fake, there's a lot of cuts and cutaways, and somebody standing up there and they hand it to me, and it's so technical. It's crazy technical.
And I mean, and that being said, like you're basically executing the jokes. You're not allowed to laugh at them when you're filming. So, I mean, did you ever have to be like, okay, break, like because you're cracking up so hard?
Sometimes it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
It's an occupational hazard. It's not a bad one.
And I think what's fun about what we just saw too is that you're flipping a lot of tropes on their head, right? Like you have the stupid boss, and you have just, I mean, this weird chemistry with your coworker. I mean, how did you decide like what kind of, I don't know, tropes or kind of standard cop show themes you were going to tackle?
But there's so many good ones,
yeah,
and they just keep coming,
right.
Actually, Nancy the other day was talking about how she was watching an interrogation scene, and it's like as they got closer to the the confession, the music was like just swelling and swelling.
Was it dun dun?
No, but that's a good one. There's a lot of like beats and
Law
weird
and Order.
screaming, yeah. But she was saying, wouldn't it be funny if we did an interrogation scene and the music just swelled so loud that we stopped being able to hear each other talk? There's just like constant. If you watch those shows, there's just so many things that we rely upon. It's why we watch the show, that it's like so easy to make fun of.
Yeah. I mean, I think I basically embarrassed myself in front of however many hundred people are here by doing the Law and Order sound.
Don't.
So
we're even.
Yeah. I mean, do you watch cop shows? There's so many.
Yeah.
Bones, CSI.
Yeah, Law and Order. I mean, it is so good.
Yeah. I can't not watch it.
There's something so safe about like the structure of it. You know where it's going.
Yep.
You know which part's law, which part's order. You know nothing about the people's lives. It's so great.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess, what do you think, I mean, just in terms of the other cast members, what has that dynamic been like for you? I mean, you've talked a little bit about the challenges for you, but did you all know each other beforehand?
I knew
or?
Hayes before.
Okay.
We kind of knew each other from around. And who else did I know? No, I didn't know anybody else. I got super lucky. We have like a pretty stellar comedic cast. Jerry Burns, I was just a fan of. Oh, cool. He's so great. Alfred Molina's on our show.
I love him.
How? He's like universally celebrated actor of
like
theater
actor.
and movies. And I'm like, every time I show up to work, I'm like, why are you here? What are you doing here?
But I bet he has the most fun, though.
He does. And he's the most delightful person. It makes sense to me now knowing him. Like, this is his sense of humor. Oh, okay. If it tickles you, like, you're going to want to do it. You're going to want to watch it,
That's awesome. And I guess I want to talk a little bit about the structure of the show. So are you like solving a case week by week, or do you have like one big case you solve throughout the season? How's that going to work?
We are this first season 1. We thought we'd just keep it like very procedurally, not a word, and just have a case, one stupid case a week that you will probably be ahead of us on. Which, if you're not, that's on you, because the titles are literally the person who did it. So, and then season 2, we sort of like we do a little bit more of like over like global stories, personal stories.
Global stories like Angie, Tribeca, Africa.
Like, no, I mean more like thematic global stories where like we there's a kind of an ongoing thing that we're building to something. I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I guess, do you
They're
have
not
any
self-contained, the episodes?
Do you have any input in the types of cases? Like, again, Law and Order, SVU reference, like they take from the headlines, right?
Right.
How do you decide like what's going to make the cut?
I specifically requested to go undercover at a quinceañera.
No way.
Because I wanted to wear that dress.
Was it frilly? Tell me it was frilly.
So pink and so frilly, and it's like the size of the stage.
So it's like the one
giant.
I wore.
Did you have a quinceañera?
I did.
That's so cute. Was it pink?
No, it might have been maroon, but
was
same
it
difference.
giant? Was it like a giant hoop?
This is about you and your experience.
I know,
don't
but
want to
I need
embarrass
to
myself
know.
any further. This is about you, the celebrity. So pink frilly dress. I mean, is there a chase scene where you're wearing all these layers?
There's a dance scene. There's like
Seriously.
I think somebody might come out of the bottom of my dress at a certain point.
That seems totally appropriate. So it seems like you've had a lot of fun on the show, though. I mean, what's the most fun scene that you've had? I heard that there may have been an experience with a man's diaper.
Yeah,
Tell
fun,
me.
I don't know if fun is the word I would use, but definitely the most interesting, maybe the low point of my career, or the high point, depending on the way you look at it. Dave Kackner, who's hilarious, you guys probably know, he was on The Office, and he was in Anchorman. He's so funny. I had to change his diaper. And he's like 6'3", so I did the thing where like I swing the baby legs here, pull him up, grab the diaper, powder his bottom. It brought us close.
That's so fun, though. But, I mean, that brings up a good question. You have some really good, well, I'll lead in with a statement. You have some great co-stars in this show.
Yeah.
James Franco, guest stars, rather.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go about picking them? I heard your parents are in the show, so can you tell us
Yeah.
about the process of cherry-picking
We
people?
went through a very long selection process
Okay.
for my parents. And then finally, they just did the best job, my real
Did you
parents.
bribe them? Like, I'll take you out to dinner. I'll wash the dishes every night. I swear.
I did a lot of begging on the show. I did a lot of like begging and bargaining with the guest stars on the show.
Okay.
So, but you know, it's the first season. It's hard to know what it's going to be like, and you know, people did me some solids.
Yeah.
I owe them.
I mean, Bill Murray
Yeah.
is a guest star. He's notoriously difficult to get a hold of. I mean, like, the myth in Hollywood is, like, he doesn't even have a phone number. Like, it's just ridiculous to get a hold of this guy. Like, talking to him, getting a hold of him is like basically getting a vision from Jesus. And somehow you got him on the show. I know that you started in a Very Merry Christmas recently.
Yes.
So you do have
We
a kind
spent some
of...
time together this past year.
okay.
We're buddies. So
Awesome.
you know, I was like, please, I want to be in your Christmas special, and then come be on my show.
So can you tell us about the episode that he's in? I mean, he's such a great actor.
It's basically, the idea is I'm a workaholic, and my boss tells me to take a day off, and I meet this guy played by Bill Murray named Vic Deakins, who works at a supermarket, and he's kind of like just checked out of life, and he's like, you know, he's my sort of ghost of future. Is that what it's called?
Ghost of Future Past or something?
Future past? Does that sound weird?
It's like a lot of words. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, he's like a foreshadowing of my future.
Okay.
And we go like on a little date, and you know, he's kind of weird and kind of charming, and that's it. We had like a little kind of mini one act play together.
That's
It was awesome.
so cool. And I guess you do a lot of writing. I mean, that's your other gig amongst your 10,000. Do you get to have direct input on like the scope of the show and the scripts? Like, do you pass back notes and back and forth? How does that work?
Ira Ungerleider, who's our amazing showrunner, I consider him a partner and collaborator, and he's.
Cool.
I mean, I don't have to do anything to the scripts because they're great, but he definitely like listens to me. You know.
That's great. Well, I guess on that note, we have another fun clip to show all of you. When you see that clip, what do you remember about the filming of that? Like, what kind of strikes?
Just trying to remember all those names. Yeah, that's runs like that. They're highly choreographed, you know, because we all have to we got to be like in pace with each other. So I just remember one of us messing up. It's like, you know, it's like you get to the end of the line, you almost get it, and you're like, damn, one of us messes up. But yeah. And then when you get that rhythm, it feels really good. You're like, oh, we did it. We got it right. It sounds
That's
good.
so awesome. I mean, clearly you got it right. That was incredibly funny.
And then, in the beginning, too, I remember having a really hard time flipping that coin backwards into Hayes' hand. It's not that easy to do that backwards.
Note to self, try that after this.
Next time you get a shave.
Exactly. I'm going to be honest with you. One of the first things that kind of caught my attention about this show is the format. So TBS is airing all 10 episodes within a 25-hour nonstop binge this Sunday. That's what I do with Netflix.
Right.
But that kind of binge model seems to now be working its way into broadcast for the first time. I
Yeah.
mean, what can you tell me about that decision?
I think it's really cool. I mean, nobody's done it before, and it's
No.
hard to think of things that nobody's done before, ever. And I think now, especially in this climate of TV, there's so many ways to watch TV. There's so many ways that people watch TV, and to give people the option to sort of watch it all in one go, I feel like is a very bold move, and it's nice for them to support the show in that way. It's also like, listen, We're gonna give you the episodes. Watch it however you want. You can binge. You can like chill out on the couch for 5 hours, or you can watch it if you want. You can watch every week, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Okay, let's say though that there's some of us in the crowd, maybe me, that will be up for this binge. What are your tips for surviving an Angie Tribeca binge?
Definitely pee when you have to pee.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
In general, that's like a life rule. Stay hydrated.
What's your beverage of choice?
Connected.
Like, what's Angie's beverage of choice? What should we be stocking up on at Duane Reade?
Like a nice, I feel like a nice, like, I don't know, maybe like an alcoholic beverage if you're
like
of age.
I was like an oaky Chardonnay if you're over 21. Could be
Ooh,
kind of
Chardonnay,
nice.
yeah. I like a Pinot Grigio myself.
Okay,
It's a little
okay.
lighter.
All right.
Maybe some snacks.
Pringles.
Pringles, great. I love corn nuts.
Okay.
Popcorn,
Yeah.
kettle corn if you like that.
Companion, is that necessary? No, right.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Also, because I've talked to some people who've watched the binge watch the show by themselves, and they feel stupid for laughing alone. But you might want to laugh alone because you might be embarrassed at what you laugh at
I
in
mean,
front of your partner.
what was the last show that you binge watched?
I watched Making a Murderer.
Me too. Isn't it good? Oh, yeah.
Somebody just had a huge reaction in the
Yeah.
front row.
And it wasn't me. Yeah.
What do you think? Did he do it? You don't think
don't
so?
think-
Did you see Jodie though recently?
Hot
Did you
mess.
see that?
She's-
No, but she just came out and
She
said,
like trying to escape, like she was
yes,
saying, right? Like he
and
coerced
she
her
was
into
to me
staying.
the most reliable, grounded character. I'm like
Grounded?
devastated. More than anybody else. I was devastated. The rat poison? I don't know.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Just a bombshell. You
Yeah.
guys who don't know what we're talking about, Making a Murderer is very good.
Educational, informative, and interesting.
Yeah.
Also in the crime genre, kind of like the show.
Yes, exactly. Just like this show.
And I guess after the binge is said and done this Sunday, then I guess in 2 weeks you're going to be showing season 2 of the show. Like you go right into it.
It might be a little longer than that.
Okay,
I think
okay.
they're going to kind of like see what's up, how people feel,
Okay.
but they will start to show this show regularly, the season 1 regularly,
Okay.
starting next week. So if you don't want to binge watch it and you do want to put yourself on a disciplined diet, you can watch it every week live. I don't know, nobody does that anymore, but
Heaven forbid.
Yeah.
No, but this is a good show to do it with, no matter what.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, given that there's so many TV choices right now, what do you think Angie Tribeca adds to the television landscape? I mean, for me, it's an awesome, kick-ass brown girl who's kind of having fun and not apologizing. But
I like that. Let's go with that.
yeah, but what do you think? I mean, what's your hope?
No, that's great. I mean, I think, there really isn't, this represents something that's not on TV right
Yeah.
now in IMHO, to add to my little run. But, I feel like I've been very lucky to be a part of a couple shows that, have been in this sort of like single camera comedy style where it's kind of mockumentary, it's very intimate, and it has a lot of heart, and that's great. This is not that show. There's not really heart. It's just kind of, it's like a lot of jokes, and I feel like it's just meant for pure entertainment. And I don't know, there's something right now, every time you turn on the news, you're upset.
Yep.
So this is hopefully a tiny bit of an antidote for that.
I mean, I think that's a great segue into some questions from the audience. Who's up for asking Rashida a question?
Hi.
Hi.
I adore you.
Oh,
Thank you so much for being
I
here.
adore you too.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I think one thing that you and I have in common is our love for Sarah Bareilles. And I know that you directed her music video, Brave. I was just wondering if you had any future aspirations for more directing, maybe even an episode of Angie Tribeca, if that was anything you're interested
I
in.
do, and I actually I will thank Sarah publicly because she forced me to direct that video, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never directed. She was like, who cares? Just do it. You'll be fine. That's such a good girlfriend thing to do. But I just recently co-directed a video for a song that's on my nephew's album that I am featured on called Flip and Rewind.
You need to watch on YouTube if you haven't already. It definitely sucked up at least like 20 minutes of my day today.
That's not too bad. I've got
That's
work.
like 4 times.
But I co-directed that with Will McCormick, who's my writing partner. It's a throwback love letter to the 90s, which is my favorite decade so far. We'll see. But yeah, I would love to direct an episode. I think this year, we were just really trying to like set the show, and I was feeling like I just wanted to focus on trying to get this character down. But I would love to direct. It's so fun. And thank you, Sarah Bareilles, again.
Sorry. I heard that you're going to be writing Toy Story 4. Is that true?
I have been writing on that for the past couple years. They've pushed the release date to 2018, and Pixar, those movies are a very long process. But yeah, it's been kind of amazing.
Hi, Rashida. My name's Kadar.
Hi.
I'm kind of sad that you mentioned Flip and Rewind before I could tell everybody else about it.
I'm sorry.
But I watched it. I love it. I posted it on Instagram.
Thank
Got
you.
thousands of likes. My question is, I know you did that from a nostalgic standpoint, but do you think that at some point you might transcend that into your television, maybe even movie capabilities, like as far as maybe adapting an idea like that and trying to bring it into sitcom mode or movie? Because I think people need to know about that, like something
Yeah.
like Listen Up,
Yeah.
kind of vibe.
I mean, I came up in the 90s. I was a teenager and a young adult in the late 90s, and I was like lucky enough to be in New York and like hanging out, listening to like Uptown MCA and like going to Club USA, and everybody was cool and still alive, and rappers were still alive and got along. And I feel like that was a really important time in the history of music and hip hop and culture. And I don't know, there's something like every time I see a friend from that era, all we want to do is talk about that era, because to me that's like I am who I am because of R&B and hip hop in the 90s. So yeah, I think it'd be great. I mean, it's so great. Like, especially now, I feel like there's a new show on VH1 called The Breaks, and there's Empire. I haven't seen that show, but I think that's like in everybody's consciousness right now. Okay, I'll try.
I mean-
I like that dare.
Is there a chance you could sing an Andrew Tribeca or do like a 90s flashback, like your character goes back in time?
I feel good about my representation of the 90s for now. We'll see.
Okay.
But I sing in one episode. I sing like a really, really silly kind of like cabaret number
Oh, awesome.
about melons and just a lot of like sexual innuendos.
Standard pop fare. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the 90s, I did find a picture of you on Google. I'm not sure if it's way back when, but it's a picture of you and Tupac. And I did a little research, and you wrote him a letter. Can you just talk about that experience and what it was like to meet him?
Yeah, well, I wrote a letter to the Source magazine about an interview they did with Tupac. He said some kind of disparaging things about interracial families, and I was 16 and very precocious, and so I wrote a letter just kind of, just basically saying, who do you think you are? How dare you? My dad paved the way for you, all this stuff, whatever. Anyway, it resulted in him meeting my family, and he and my dad, kind of hashing it out, him apologizing, and him being incredibly close with our family. And I was very lucky to know him. He was one of a kind.
Hi, Rashida. I love you. So,
Thank you. I love you too.
my question is, if you could have played any other character on Parks and Rec other than Anne, who would it have been?
Ooh, good one.
Councilman Jam? It's such a good. I mean, Glazer is a comedy legend, so nobody could play it better. But that's like, I just want to say you've been jammed. Fun catchphrase.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering, can we be best friends?
I mean, what's your schedule like? Where do you live?
yeah.
I have so many questions to
Yeah.
ask you before
anytime.
I can agree upon that. But let's try.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
start with this. What's your name, first of all?
I'm Gabby.
Gabby.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a beginner.
Nice to
I'm
meet you.
Rashida.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh.
Let's work on it.
Yeah.
Let's take baby steps.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So, in an industry where women are often placed into one box, typically, where do you find the inspiration to navigate the various different paths of your career?
I've never felt handicapped by being a woman. It's just not anything I was ever taught to feel by my family, and I feel very lucky for that. And when I look at the outside world and I see that it's not necessarily reflected in a more kind of collective way, it really bums me out. But I mean, I think the best I can do is to be kind of loud and be vocal. I think there's some real inequality problem still in Hollywood, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there's no reason it should be that way, and it's going to take a couple real bold leaders, people who can actually change things to just change them. And people are going to stomp their feet and say it's unfair, but who cares? Like, it's time. I'm damn sick of it. Like, women should have parity. It doesn't make any sense. And then I think the rest of the world will follow because Hollywood sets standards. That's what we do. Like, that's what we should be doing. But anyway, point is, there's so many great women leaders already that I look up to, and people like Amy Poehler, and, you know, Tina Fey, and Amy Schumer, and Kerry Washington. And there's just like great women out there who are just not afraid to just do what they're doing and don't care. You just have to not care and be loud.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming out on a Friday and spending
My pleasure.
time with us.
Thank you guys for spending time with me. It's so
This
nice.
has been so much fun.